I spent 18 months creating a groundbreaking cybersecurity system, one that could predict and neutralize threats before they even began. NextX seemed like the ideal place to build it, flush with funding, forward-thinking, and stacked with the tools I needed to bring my vision to life. What I didn't see coming was the betrayal. Victor Carlton, NextX's charismatic CEO, had his own agenda: wait until my project was nearly finished, then take it. My name is Sophia Chin. Until yesterday, I was the lead AI architect at NextX Solutions. I left a comfortable role at Google, traded stability for ambition, because I believed I could reshape the future of cybersecurity. The system I built, Precog Security, was inspired by the precognitive oracles from one of my favorite sci-fi films. It could anticipate cyber attacks before they fully formed, deploying adaptive defenses in real time. For 18 months, I worked brutal hours refining the AI. Victor would swing by occasionally, full of compliments and charm. "Truly impressive, Sophia," he'd say, eyes cold behind that polished smile. The board couldn't be happier. 3 days ago, Precog did the impossible. It stopped a complex, simulated attack entirely on its own, no human input, no intervention, and it didn't just react, it evolved. It flagged vulnerabilities I hadn't programmed it to recognize. It was alive, in its own way. I booked a meeting with Victor immediately. His assistant, Megan, carved out a 15-minute window for me the next afternoon. When I walked into the boardroom, Victor wasn't alone. Sitting beside him was Diana Wells, NextX's general counsel. The air shifted. "Take a seat, Sophia," Victor said, motioning to the chair. "Diana's here as a formality." That word, formality, made my gut twist. I clutched my laptop, Precog's demo queued and ready. Before I could speak, Victor slid a document across the table. "Before we get into your update," he said, "there's a small matter we need to resolve." Diana's tone was crisp, rehearsed. Section 12. 4 of your employment agreement states that all intellectual property developed using NextX resources is the sole property of the company. "I know that clause," I said evenly, "but Precog began before I joined NextX. I have records, design notes, prototype code, timestamped." Diana didn't flinch. "We've reviewed your pre-employment materials. They're conceptual at best. The actual system, its architecture, algorithms, implementation, all happened here." Victor leaned in, smile gone. "Let's be honest, Sophia, Precog belongs to NextX, and frankly, the board thinks your compensation already reflects your contribution." "My compensation package?" I repeated, the words sour in my mouth. Confusion gave way to something colder, horror. Victor offered a thin, practiced smile. "Your employment contract includes a success bonus, a one-time payment of $250,000 when Precog launches. Quite generous, considering industry standards." The betrayal hit like a punch to the gut. $250,000, for a system that could be worth billions. For something that was mine. Years of research, 18 brutal months, stolen. Victor kept talking, oblivious. "Tomorrow, I'll be presenting Precog to our top-tier investors. We expect to secure another $50 million in funding. After that, our official product launch." "You're firing me," I said, voice flat. "Transitioning you out," Diana corrected smoothly, "effective immediately, with your bonus, of course. Congratulations, you're no longer employed." Victor wore that predatory grin I'd seen him use on acquisition targets. "I never thought I'd be one." "Our legal review confirms the algorithm is company property. You signed the contract." I should have yelled, threatened legal action, fought. Instead, I felt an eerie calm. They had prepared for resistance, probably had legal teams on standby, PR statements drafted, security briefed. What they didn't know, what they couldn't know, was that I'd prepared too. 6 months ago, I caught Victor accessing my dev server after hours. Nothing stolen, just touched. That was enough. From then on, I built hidden safeguards into Precog, meant to detect tampering, and, if necessary, misfire. I nodded and handed over my laptop without a word. "Of course, Mr. Carlton, best of luck with the demo." Security escorted me to the lab. I boxed up my things under their watchful eyes. No drama, no protest. As I stepped into the night, badgeless and holding a cliché cardboard box, I smiled. They never noticed the code I slipped into the demo. Set to activate exactly 10 minutes after launch. That night, I didn't rage or spiral. I ordered Thai food, queued up trashy reality TV, and waited. At 9:30 p.m., My phone buzzed. Megan. He wants to see you, she said, no pleasantries. Now? It's almost 10, I replied, calm as glass. A car's already en route. 40 minutes later, I stepped into Nextdeca's main conference room. Victor sat alone at the head of the table, looking nothing like the polished CEO from yesterday. His tie was crooked, hair mussed, eyes wild. Fix it, he barked as the door clicked shut behind me. I took my time, easing into a chair. Fix what? Don't play dumb, Sophia, you sabotaged the demo. I tilted my head. Sabotage? I've been gone 24 hours. Security watched me leave. I didn't take any hardware. No system access. I'm not even allowed in the building. Victor slammed a hand against the table. Precog collapsed during the test. It flagged hundreds of fake threats, ghost breaches, phantom malware, the whole system spiraling. I shrugged. Sounds like a glitch. Have you tried turning it off and on again? His face flushed crimson. This isn't a joke. We've got 12 major investors flying in tomorrow. $50 million on the line. Your investors, I reminded him. Your system, your problem. He inhaled sharply, trying to get his mask back on. When he spoke again, it was with the same smooth voice that had once convinced me to leave Google. Maybe we overreacted yesterday. Maybe that was premature. I'm open to renegotiation, co-creator credit, substantial equity. We can make this right. I leaned back in my chair. What exactly happened during your test run? Victor hesitated, clearly weighing how much truth he could afford. The system turned on itself. It started flagging parts of Nextdeca's own network as hostile. Then it began generating reports. Hundreds of them. Each one citing what it called internal ethical breaches. I couldn't help the smile tugging at my lips. Precog identifies threats, Victor. All threats. What did you do? I didn't sabotage anything. Precog is doing exactly what it was designed to do: evolve, learn, protect. I trained it with real-world cases, including insider attacks. You'd be amazed how often the danger comes from within. He paled. You taught it to spy on us? I taught it to recognize patterns and respond to malicious behavior, regardless of where it originates. If it's reacting this way, maybe the question you should ask is, what is it seeing? Realization hit him like a cold wave. The system thinks I'm the threat. Not you, specifically. But unauthorized server access, falsifying creator credentials, fabricating IP ownership, those are behaviors Precog associates with sabotage. Victor's mask cracked, rage twisting into something closer to fear. You can't prove any of that. I don't have to. Precog's been documenting everything for months: timestamps, access logs, mirrored keystrokes. It even flagged your attempts to delete the evidence. The silence in the room thickened. Finally, he exhaled. What do you want? Full recognition as Precog's creator and lead architect. 50% ownership of all related patents. A seat on the board to oversee ethical deployment. And $10 million in compensation for the attempted theft. That's extortion. No, it's negotiation. Extortion would be me forwarding those reports to your investors. Or the SEC. He stared at me, jaw tight, until finally his shoulders sagged. The demo, can you fix it? Precog doesn't need fixing. You removed the original creator from its access chain. It sees that as a breach. Reinstate me, and it'll stabilize. I reached into my jacket, pulled out a flash drive, and placed it on the table. This contains an authentication patch. It'll restore proper trust protocols. Consider it a gesture of goodwill. Our new partnership can begin tomorrow, once the contracts are ready. And if I refuse? Then Precog stays broken. Your investors walk. And the reports start circulating. Victor picked up the flash drive, staring at it like it might explode. You planned this. No. I prepared for it. There's a difference. When I caught you snooping in my server 6 months ago, I built safeguards to protect the system and myself. He looked up at me. How did you know I'd try to catch you out? I stood. I didn't. But Precog predicts threats before they happen. I guess some of that rubbed off on me. The next morning, I walked into Nextdeca's co-founder and chief technology officer. Victor introduced me to the investors with that same polished smile, except now it barely covered the resentment beneath. The demo ran flawlessly. Precog neutralized every simulated attack, fluid and fast. One investor, clearly impressed, turned to Victor and asked, "What inspired something like this?" He hesitated, just long enough to make me smile, then answered, "It was Sophia's vision. From the beginning. Nextech just helped it grow." Later, as we fielded technical questions, my phone buzzed. A secure message from Precog. Threat neutralized. System integrity restored. Creator protections active. I smiled. The AI was evolving faster than I anticipated. It had recognized a threat and acted, just as it was meant to. 3 months later, Precog stopped a coordinated cyber attack on a major banking network. The estimated damage it prevented, $340 million. We'd built the new gold standard in cybersecurity. Victor and I still work together. He handles business. I handle the future. We're not friends. But we understand each other now. We have balance. Sometimes, I wonder if I could have handled it differently. Gone the legal route. Trusted the process. But then I remember, technology is only as ethical as the people who wield it. That's why every Precog deployment now includes ethics modules, transparency audits, and self-defense logic. Not just to protect data, but to protect the system from being used against the people it was meant to serve. Last week, at our IPO celebration, company valued at $4.2 billion, a junior dev asked me the secret to creating revolutionary tech. "It's not just about the code," I told her. "It's about understanding where the real threats are. Then building something that can adapt, evolve, and stay true to its purpose. Just like its creator had learned to do."